All right. Thank you all for joining us this evening, the first meeting of 2023. Done great things, going to do great things, right, Mayor? All right, I like it. Thank you. That's all right. Thank you for joining us this evening. And Councilman London, if you would be so kind, sir.
Father, we're so grateful and thankful, Father, for allowing us to, for allowing you, Father, allowing us to see another year, Father. Father, one that we seen before, and one we'll never see again. Father, we just today just give you all the honor and all the glory for allowing this council, this mayor, and this administration, Father, to serve your people. Father, just keep us in focus and keep us humble. Understand that, Father, allow that you to guide and lead us in every decision that we make in 2020. Father, move us out of the way. Allow your Holy Spirit just to guide every decision that we make. And Father, we'll be careful to give you all the glory and all the honor and all the praise.
Amen.
Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir, for that. All right. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, Councilman London, Councilman Box, Councilman Sims.
Present.
And myself present, with noting the absence of Councilwoman Cuellar. At this time, we'll look for the approval of the minutes from the December 20th, 2022 meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting from December 20th, 2022.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. No opposed. At this time, I would look for a motion for the approval of the bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in amount of $261,390.79.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. At this time, we will look for any professional or consultants to deliver us a report this evening. Any professional or consultants? Fair enough. Mayor, the floor is all yours.
First of all, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. We're so glad that you are here, that you came out tonight with the weather being the way that it is. But I promise you, we will let you out around 8:30. The reason that I'm saying 8:30, if I said that we'll have a council meeting and it's going to end at 6:30, is in at 8:30. If I say it ends at 8:30, you'll get out at 6:30. So please roll with me and say we're going to get out of here tonight at 8:30. But what I would like to do before I give the mayor's report, and at the next council meeting, I'm going to ask Josh if he would pull this up for somebody that's 6'3" instead of 5'7", 5'8". I'm about to break my neck over here. But tonight, before I get into the mayor's report, I wanted to. Thank you, Josh. Okay, I know. I'm going to ask Ms. Trudy Rowland if she would come, and that if she would bring her board member with her. She's one. Okay, so she doesn't want to come, but January the 11th is Human Trafficking Day. So we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to go ahead and celebrate it before the day takes place instead of doing it at our next council meeting. Trudy has been very instrumental in helping us to go through training here at the city of Irondale. Our goal is to become a human trafficking free zone. So we support the work that she's doing here in the city. And we also plan on going into the schools this year to be able to make an impact as well. And I had some other notes that I don't have with me, but one of the things I do want to encourage you, Trudy, if you could tell them the movies that are out there, that if people do not believe that this is real, that they can stream it to really to see what we're talking about. And it would really change the way I feel like going forward about what people will think about human trafficking.
First off, you're gonna let me talk, 'cause
Well, I'm gonna let you talk. I guess I need to do the
last time you
proclamation
were a little
first.
concerned that I keep you here to 8:30.
Well, let me do the proclamation and then I'll let you do that. Okay, the proclamation says, whereas the city of Irondale seeks to enhance public welfare, protect public safety, and promote human flourishing for all residents and visitors by declaring that freedom from human trafficking is a fundamental human right. And whereas human trafficking is a form of modern day slavery in which victims are forced to work in various forms of exploitation, including debt bondage, forced marriage, labor, and commercial exploitation of adults and minors that are induced through force, fraud, or coercion. The city of Irondale, Alabama is committed to ensuring that our community is prepared to recognize signs of human trafficking. And whereas due to its isolating nature, many individuals remain unaware that trafficking is a threat to their neighborhoods, families, and friends. The first step in eliminating human trafficking in our community is to educate others. We must work diligently to ensure that all frontline industries, educators, and first responders are aware of this issue and how to spot it. And whereas we will continue our efforts to make the city of Irondale a trafficking-free zone by combating the human trafficking of our children and vulnerable adults and mitigating the associate public safety, economic health risks to our community in collaboration with the Child Trafficking Solutions Project and other anti-human trafficking organizations. By combating labor trafficking, servitude, and commercial sexual exploitation through comprehensive education of our staff, the implementation and enforcement of a zero tolerance policy against any act which may support human trafficking, the continuum that includes prevention, recovery of victims, and the persecution of perpetrators, asking all citizens of the city of Irondale to join us in promoting zero tolerance towards human trafficking. Be it resolved that I, James Douglas Stewart Jr., by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Irondale in the state of Alabama, do hereby proclaim January 23rd January of 2023, got to get used to saying 2023, Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and declaring the city of Irondale a trafficking-free zone. I further encourage all residents to join us in raising the visibility of this crime and to become more informed about ways to prevent, to recognize, and to respond to potential victims of human trafficking in our community. In witness whereof, I set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Irondale to be affixed on the 3rd day of January 2023. And before I turn it over to Trudy, I will say that I have gone through the course, and it really taught me a lot to be able to identify when something looks out of whack. I'm not the most intuitive individual, but now when I go to gas stations and I see older men with younger girls, a little red flag starts to go off in my head. So Trudy, I kind of tried to use some of those skills that
I'm glad.
we were
All of
taught in the
our
class there.
citizens
So,
have. I've witnessed it.
and now I'll give it to you.
Okay. I am Trudy Rowland, and my husband and I, we're residents of Irondale. We've lived here ourselves for 35 years. So we're residents of Irondale. We own Iron Beach Gym, so some of you may recognize me through the gym. So we do own the fitness gym. I'm the founder of an organization known as MPYD, and basically what that is we work youth development, meaning that we can do anything to improve the life of a youth. The division that I work with is the human trafficking side of that organization. So I work with rescues, survivors. I help transition survivors. I'm on the healing side. Once we go in on the rescue, we transition them all the way back into life, we do housing, we help get cars, we help get jobs. 24/7, we're with the survivors. So that's a little bit about our organization and what we do and how I got into the human trafficking. The shows and stuff that he's talking about, if you do want to know a little bit more, I think it's called Human Trafficking Highway, which is very good because it's going to talk about I-20 running through Irondale. So if you want to get that close to home, I recommend you looking up on YouTube, Human Trafficking Highway or I-20 Human Trafficking, and you'll get a lot of data about statistics and how I-20 is one of the biggest corridors that we work, which is why the city of Irondale is so important for us to get the training that we have done in the city, because they're stopping at our gas stations, they're using our hotels, and they're using our Dollar General if they want to. So I do recommend those. I also want to tell you, Chief Wiggins has been huge. He when he went in office has been super. I think he might have only been 2 months in office, and we were in contact to bring this training into our city. We've been trying for a long time to get it here with our first responders and our citizens. And so we finally did about a year ago, and it has most definitely paid off. Wiggins, thank you. He stays on top of it. He's already ensured that all the new officers and all are fixing to be retrained. We're setting that up now. So 2023, we got more training coming back to our first responders. I want to say a huge thank you, and I'm so proud of our police and fire department. I wish I could tell stories, but I'll just let you know that we have the most amazing police and fire department. Their hearts are in it. They don't quit. They don't quit. So I'm very appreciative, and I'll probably start crying because I know a lot of them very personally too. They work out in our gym. They come in, we talk trafficking as they work out. They're always asking questions, and they have done super in the last year. So I'm excited to be able to do another training course with the rookies that have come in. We are going into the schools this year, and sadly enough, we have to start with the 4th grade. And that's sad. You would think junior, seniors, you think we would just deal with high school, but we don't. We have to start with our 4th graders and go from 4th through 12th grade with a lot of the training that we do. But I'm thankful that we're allowed to go in and do this training. I'm thankful that we've been allowed to come in and work with everybody that we have. Last, I'm going to say we did a community training. We held 2 classes when we did the first responders, and we had 50 to 60 of the community actually show up. If you're interested and y'all want us to do that again, if you'll let me know, we will hold some more community classes where you can actually come in and we'll talk with you about your grandchildren, your children, the red flags to look for within your own home, the red flags to look for in our community, what to do if you see something. So if you're at Dollar General or a gas station like what he's talking about, and you see something and you don't know what to do, you'll leave out with the right phone numbers, the right thing. You don't want to get involved. You definitely don't want to get involved. You want to walk away and make a phone call. You want Wiggins and them to take care of it. So, but there's a lot of things to learn. So if you are interested, we're more than willing to do another community education as well on top of the first one. So you can look us up on Facebook or me, or you can get back through with James and them.
Thank you, Trudy. We're gonna get a photo op in right quick.
In front. You gave me my bag. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna run through my report right quick. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the water department switched over to some new billing software on November the 10th. If you had your payment set up on automatic draft, they did not draft. You would think by me being the mayor and the superintendent over the water department, I would have known that, but I didn't know that as well. So I had to go in and reset my account. So if you did not have your payment drafted out of your account, you need to reestablish your account. And if you don't have your PIN number, call the water department and they'll give you your PIN number, because that's the most requested thing, is that I don't have my PIN number to be able to set up my account. Secondly, I wanted to talk about the Moody landfill. The Moody landfill is not in the jurisdiction of the city of Irondale or Jefferson County. However, we are watching it closely. We're staying in contact with ADEM, and as soon as ADEM release information, we will put that information on the city website, or you could look on the mayor's Facebook page. January 16th is Martin Luther King holiday, but we also have a Martin Luther King Public Service Project If you have a public service project that you would like to do within the city limits of Irondale and under $1,000, we would provide you with the funding if you submit your application to us no later than January the 12th. I don't know why I want to say July or June, but it's January the 12th to be able to do that. So I know that there are some people out there that have some projects that they want to do around the city, especially if you've been complaining about the city not having any flowers at its entrances and things of that nature. It may be a perfect opportunity for you to join in and to be able to do some work to help us out. Irondale Recycles. If you do not have the 64-gallon blue recycling can by January the 23rd, we will not pick up your recycling. I hope you all get that. If you do not have the new trash can, we will not pick up your recycling. We're trying to cut down on the contamination rate, and we can't do that if people don't use the cans that have a lid on it. So we're encouraging you that if you do not have the can, you need to make sure that you get it before the 23rd, because when you come home and you see a little blue tub still sitting out there, it's because you have not signed up to be able to get one from the city. Also, it really defeats the purpose. If you're going to put your boxes in the new can, but you don't tear them up to let the lid down. Because if you leave the lid up on the can, the cardboard is still going to become contaminated. We really appreciate if you would stand there and tear up those boxes before you put them in the trash can. It's not that hard. If you tear each corner of the box will become flat where you can lay it in the trash can. Trust me, I spent 30 minutes this morning doing that same thing. So please put the lid down on the trash can or the recycling can, because it really defeats the purpose if you're just going to put the box in there and still leave the top up and everything still becomes wet and contaminated. Also on January the 26th, we're having a public library community focus group meeting here at 6 o'clock. I'm going to tell you what this meeting is not about. This meeting is not about where the location of the library or where the library is going. That train has already left the station. The city has already spent $1,900,000 on a piece of property. So if you're coming to the meeting to express your disdain with the location of the library, I'm going to ask you to stay at home, because that's already been decided. If you want to come and give us new ideas, if you want to tell us what it should look like, what you would like to be included in the building, we would love for you to show up at the meeting. But if you're showing up just to complain about the location, please stay at home. February the 24th, we're having an event called Irondale We Got Game. It's Friday, February the 24th. It's from 6 to 9 at the Irondale Civic Center. It will be free pizza, popcorn, sodas, and cupcakes. There's a movie to be announced. Some of the games that are going to be played is bingo, card games, Monopoly, Go Fish, Dominoes, Uno, checkers, cornhole, ring toss, Connect Four, Candyland, Scrabble, and head bands. All right. Those are some of the games that's going to be played. We encourage you to come out to that event and put it on your calendar. February, Friday the 25th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Irondale Civic Center. Also on March the 4th, we're having a Young Entrepreneurs Day at Shades Valley High School. We're encouraging anybody under the age of 20 who is an entrepreneur to please sign up and to be a part of this event. There will be awards that will be given for the different classes and for the individuals that will be participating at the certain ages. You can find that on the city website, but you can also find it in the calendar that we sent out as well. Also on the city website is a Save the Date 2023. We have already put out a calendar with all of the projected events that we plan on having in the city of Irondale. You can go to the city website to be able to identify those dates so you can mark it on your calendar because we expect for you to be in the place. Two more things, you all. First, I want to give an update on Grantswood Road. A lot of people have complained about Grantswood Road since they've been doing construction on Grants Mill Road. We had SANE to do a traffic study. And out of that traffic study, they gave us several recommendations that we have already implemented at that intersection. There's now a reflective, I think when you pull up to the stop sign, there's now a reflective coating on the ground to let you know that you're at the stop sign. There's a new sign on the bottom of the stop sign that tells you that through traffic, or traffic coming from that way has a right to continue to go through there, and you're supposed to stop if you're coming in the opposite direction. And I think they've also put lights on the stop signs as well. We hope that this will solve the issue that I've seen a lot of people complaining about, but I can tell you right now, we're not putting a four-way stop sign there because we've had the traffic engineers to do a study and they said that this area does not warrant for us to be able to put a four-way stop there. So we have done some upgrades there. If you have any issues with that, please call Frank Pennington at 205-951-1420. You see, I didn't give you all my phone number. I gave you all the Director of Public Works. And the final thing is, this is more of a mayoral privilege or a father privilege, but I wanted to welcome Christian to our council meeting. He's been in Sweden playing basketball professionally since September the 15th, and he decided to surprise his sister and come home for the holidays. So he's been here with us. Well, he's been here. We hadn't seen him, but he's been. I don't know where he's moved to another house because I very seldom ever see him in the house. But we were glad to have him here. Glad for him to come and to be able to surprise his sister. And he leaves on January the 5th, headed back to Sweden, and he'll be there until April. He's doing very well. He's a rookie, but his team is 11-1. He's averaging 17 points and 11.5 rebounds. Not as a father that I'm really keeping up with his stats. But I just wanted to let you all know that our other half was at home with us, and we hate to see him leave, but he has to go and pursue his dream, and that's playing professional basketball. Thank you, Council President. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, sir. Any department heads that would like to give a report this evening? Any department heads? Fair enough. We'll go ahead and start in with the council reports. For myself, just happy to put 2022 in the rear view for a handful of reasons, but I'm also glad for what it was. Very excited about the opportunity that it's before us in 2023. And as far as any reports go, I don't have any. I know the recycling hasn't been picked up for a couple of days. Mayor, it resumes next Monday, but will not be on MLK Monday. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay.
And we will be back in full force on the 23rd.
Perfect. So recycling next Monday, but not on MLK
Yes.
Monday.
And the question that why don't we pick another day?
Right.
Because Thursday is the day that they actually clean out the trucks from picking up garbage Tuesday and Wednesday. So once they clean the truck out on Thursday, they're back on the route on Monday.
Thank you. So anyways, I know I've got about 6 boxes that contain about 60 boxes that I'm just going to have to peel off probably 1 week at a time. So we'll be looking forward to that. But that is all of my report this evening. Councilman Sims?
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hope everyone had a great holiday season, Christmas, New Year. Looking forward to 2023. I think we've done a good job last year, and hopefully the city, I'm looking forward to the city continuing to grow and do awesome things and have a lot of citizen engagement as we had last year. This upcoming year, next Tuesday night will be the first Holiday Garden Neighborhood Association meeting of the year at the Senior Activity Center. And that's all I have.
Fair enough. Councilman Box?
Well, once again, echoing everybody's sentiments of Happy New Year. I really don't have a report. I know that a couple of neighborhoods are working together to try to reactivate their neighborhood association meeting. So I'm looking forward to getting some information on that here in the new year.
Fantastic. Councilman London?
Thank you. Really no report, just Happy New Year. Excited about what we did last year, excited about what we're going to do this year. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Amen.
I love it. All right, outstanding. Any reports of any boards or non-council committees? Yes, sir.
I'm John Schoen with the Exchange Club, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those in the city who contributed to us. We helped about 30 families this year with about 3 boxes of food and $50 worth of clothing coupons, and also a ham. And it was, well, let's put it this way, the families are really respected and really liked it. The libraries worked with us, and several other city entities have worked with us, as well as citizens of the city of Irondale. We are very fortunate to have the blessings of good people we have in our city. Think about this. We operate only by referral. We just don't do mass give outs to folks that may or may not think they need it. The folks that receive our goods need it, and they're referred to us by other individuals. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for working with us, and we're looking forward to doing it again next year.
Fair enough. Thank you. Any other reports from any other boards or non-council committees? Okay. All right. So a little bit of housekeeping. We have 3 public hearings tonight. So we will take them one by one. So for anybody who hasn't been through the process, what will happen is we will open the public hearing. We will look for anybody that's sponsoring the particular item to come up for questions. We will hear comments for whatever the public hearing is for, and then we will hear comments against whatever the public hearing is for. Then at that time, we will close that public hearing. There might be some additional deliberation amongst ourselves. Then we will move on to the next public hearing where we repeat the process, and then we will move on to the third public hearing where we will repeat that process. As far as the agenda goes, I did something, unfortunately, tonight that none of us really like, but I had to do it, and I will explain myself when the time comes. I have 2 additional resolutions that will go under regular business, just to keep, they could probably typically go on consent, but just to keep the numbers in line, I figured we would just go ahead and put them on regular business. They're not on your copies, so I will explain myself when we get to that point. So I'll be adding a R230, wait a second. I'll be adding a R7 and an R8. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little caught up in the type. So we'll be adding those 2 items. I'll explain myself. And then finally, at the very, very end, we will after we've moved through all the deliberations and the voting, we will move into an executive session. And at that time, we will move into another room to discuss some pressing matters that I'll describe a little bit more when we come to that time. We will then return to our chamber strictly to close out our meeting. So once we get to executive session, you're more than happy to sit here and wait for us just to take a vote to end the council meeting. But all of the business as far as this agenda will be done when we go into executive session. So please feel free to leave at that time. So that being said, we'll go ahead and move into the public hearings.
Council President, could I?
Yes,
ask a
please.
question? I do have some individuals that had expressed wanting to address the council during non-agenda items. Will there be time for that tonight, or is the executive session going to preclude that?
Okay, thank you for the point of clarification. So after the public comments on non-agenda items, after that is concluded, where we would normally move to adjourn, that is when we will move into executive session. So we will carry out our agenda at like typical.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that being said, I'd ask for a motion to move into a public hearing.
Make a motion that we leave a regular council meeting and go to a public hearing.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. So 1 of 3, the city council of the city of Irondale will hear comments from interested citizens for a change of zoning from institutional from institutional zone district to a C1 commercial district for the property located at 6001 Old Leeds Road, Irondale, Alabama 35210. Since we are in this public hearing, one thing that I will say to the body, I was absent for this. Bless you again. I was absent for this P and Z meeting, but from my understanding is the voting was unanimous on the approval for that. So just a clarification. So we're in public hearing. Is there anyone to present this item to the council this evening? Yes, sir, please. Yes, please, if you would.
See where they cleared out.
Can you just state your name again? Kind of very similar to what we did, what you probably went through at P and Z.
Yeah. So my name's Ryan Freeman. I'm the owner of the property. It's lot 1B, 6001.
Ryan, microphone.
Thank you.
Well, I'm 5'7", so I'm gonna have to lower it. Actually 5'9", but I actually own lot 1B, 6001 Old Leeds Road, which is actually the actual address is 6047 Old Leeds Road. So that's the address of the property now. I own Ryan Freeman Inc., general contractors. We're a commercial general contractor. We are medical specific. We do primarily what we call lifestyle healthcare. So we do dental offices, optical offices, veterinarian offices, primary care physician, just smaller private practice type buildings. We're licensed in 4 states, and so our business is, as far as people, is small. So we don't have we don't need a large office building. So this is what a rendering of our office building. That colors may not be accurate, but this will be what the front of the building looks like. It actually faces Old Leeds Road. So this part is the actual office part, and then back here, that's a 2,500 square foot office. And then this back here, you can't see very well in the back, but that's the face of the warehouse. There's a 3,000 square foot storage space in the back. We call it warehouse, but it'll be finished. That's for anybody that cares out there. So as far as aesthetics go, it'll be a concrete building. It'll be concrete about 8 feet up, and then the top panels will be metal panels. It'll have a metal roof. It'll be perfectly landscaped, asphalt parking lot. The plan is to the detention pond will be in the front of the building, but it'll be landscaped as well. We submitted for permits last week, but that's all I have. So, anybody got any questions?
Councilman London, any questions for the gentleman?
So I think I missed it. Maybe I zoned out. Sometimes I do that.
It's okay.
So exactly what business is this? Exactly.
So we're a general contractor. So this is our corporate office.
Okay.
So this is where we'll operate our office.
All right. What are you gonna be storing in the back?
So in the back, in this building back, it's just a storage business. So like attic stock, like if we have extra doors or extra flooring or tile or anything like that.
Okay.
But it's inside.
Okay. All
So
right.
and
I missed that
yeah,
part. So thank you.
absolutely.
Councilman Box, any questions for the
The
gentleman?
only question would be, so there will be no quote unquote lay down yard in it, everything will be stored in your
There
warehouse?
is a gravel yard when you pull in, and so the plan is to pull in, to the back going in, and that will be a gravel yard, but it's only about 40 feet.
Mhm.
And we're doing a 6-foot privacy fence all the way around.
Very good, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Councilman Sims?
Looking at the church, this is the property to the right, is that correct? Or to-
Yes, so
okay.
if you're looking at the church, we're to the left of the church. Then there's another 2.5 acres, then there's the fire station.
Okay,
Yeah, so there's 5 acres in between that the church owned, and so they parceled it out.
that's
So
the
I'm
only thing I
1B.
wasn't clear
I'm
on.
1B, and then lot 2 is the one next to me.
Thank you.
All right. So this time we take any comments from the public that would be for this rezoning. Any comments for this rezoning? No Okay, I thought I heard something. Any comments against this rezoning?
We just did some mulching, yes, sir. We cleared out some of the underbrush. We didn't do the entire property. We just did what about 300 feet back. Property goes about 400 feet back. But we're not clearing the whole thing back anyway. We're only going to take back about 300 feet. We're going to leave a big buffer between us and the homes behind us, the residential area behind us. And then to the right of us, there'll be about a 50 to 65 foot buffer of woods between us and the church and their playground over there as well.
Okay. Now, is this an in general question? Are you for or against this? You're against this. If you're gonna put on record that you're against something, I do need a name and address. If you would. Okay.
I live in the house immediately behind the church. My question is, with all the vacant property we have in the city, what are we doing, what is the city doing to encourage people to use some of that property versus cutting down more trees in our day, which we've done a huge thing to do lately with all the townhouse community and all the publics and all that, and now coming over and cutting down more trees. And I know, again, the owner's gonna sell it, the owner's gonna sell it. Is the city doing anything from a tax perspective or anything to encourage people to use some of the vacant property we already have?
That would be a better economic development question for the mayor and the
I can answer
economic.
that.
You're good. Okay.
What vacant properties are you talking about? Yes, we had Blueprint Iredale to come out in 2020 to give us a plan of what we want to do with Crestwood Boulevard. We're currently doing an Apple study that we got from the Regional Planning Commission for $60,000 to figure out how to be able to do even more development from John Rogers all the way down to what I call the landmark for the city, which is the highway. So we are actively recruiting entities to be able to come in there, but if their business model doesn't fit that empty building, they're not going to buy that building just because it's empty. Yes, we're doing some things to be able to encourage it.
Would you like to lobby for or against this? Okay, fair enough. Any comments any comments against this rezoning?
Building up in this area. I live in school and everything else in there.
Okay.
Realize you got the roundabout coming in down there, it should help some. Of course, you've got the troubles of trying to get the Grants Mill Road down to 459, go through there. Of course, you already knew about your potential problem there at start.
Council President.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you have him to come to the front and speak and give his address since he said he lives
Yes,
close
please,
to
if you would. Thank you.
close to the property?
Normally we hear more for or against. We don't typically field general questions in a setting like this, but there seemed to be some interest here. So if you would be so kind.
Barry, I'm Jack Wallace. I live down in Bryan Estates, 3112 Old Ivy Road. And certainly the character of that area is what attracted me in there. What concerns me now is the character of that area drastically changing with the attempts within the city and otherwise to put in high-density housing and the high-density housing that's going in. I'm quite concerned about the area that I was so attracted to originally when I moved into this area.
Got me.
So that's my expression. I have that concern. Certainly, I'm not here just to resist your attempts to have a place to work and what have you, but with the school there, the traffic that's going to go through there, all the high-density housing that's gone in, I just dread seeing what the future's going to be.
So do you want to go on record for or against this? Or do your comments stand as general?
Well, my comments stand as general. I'm not specifically against what he's doing, but
Fair enough.
I'm very concerned about the indications that are enhanced by what he's doing.
Copy. Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
would you like to schedule an appointment and come talk to me about your concerns?
Oh, anytime.
Okay, well, I'll have somebody to reach out to you. You leave your phone number with the city clerk and we'll give you a call and we'll sit down and address what your issues are about the progress in the development in the city of Irondale.
So, thank you. If there are no more comments against or for this rezoning, then we will go ahead and close the public hearing.
I actually have one more question.
Motion to close? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask, should this get approved, when is your timetable? When do you expect building to start and end? If all goes according to plan.
We have our ADM permit, so we're, as soon as we get building permits, we're
Good to go.
ready to mobilize.
And what's your timeline for attempting to complete and
As soon as possible.
got it?
I mean, I would say 6 months. That's what I do every day. And supply chain's still an issue. So
I understand that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Motion to close public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. All right. All right. It's motion to enter our second public hearing for the evening.
Have a motion to enter the second public hearing for the evening. I would like to add the caveat that when we're entering the public hearing are addressing just the items of the public hearing, not generalized comments, which you would need to come speak either for or against the comments. You will have opportunities to address the council on agenda items only, and you'll also have the opportunity to address the council on non-agenda items as we move through the meeting.
So eloquently
Second.
put, sir. All right. So do we have a motion to enter second public hearing? Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the city council to hear from the owners of and any interested citizens concerning the property located at 1815 4th Avenue South, Irondale, Alabama, and the city council's determination concerning demolition of the unsafe conditions located on such property. Do you have anything to contribute to this conversation? Okay. Okay, fair enough. Is there anyone to speak in favor of this demolition? In favor? Okay, anyone to speak in favor of this demolition? Anyone to speak against this demolition? Okay, we just need your name and address. If that is more comfortable for you, then that is fine.
I had surgery on a foot.
You're good. Thank you, Jared.
It's my parents' house, and I'd like an extension, not to get it tore down. I'm currently in active process of getting it sold so it can be renovated. The house itself is a stone foundation. It's good, and it does need a new roof and some floor work, and the paneling needs to come down and sheetrock go up. But I'm currently working to sell the house either to Gretchen or to John Romero. He's helping me with some numbers and stuff like that to help get it either renovated or sold on the sold side. Because, with my health conditions, I'm not able to keep up the house. And, so I am working at selling the house right now. I just need a little bit more time so that I can get the house sold. And, something like the middle of February should be plenty of time for me to get this totally worked out with the lawyers and the price and stuff like that. So I just don't want to get tore down prior to me being able to get it sold.
Council Lindeman, you have any questions for the gentleman?
Oh, so you say you're trying, Mr. Rob, right?
Yeah, Robert.
You say you're trying to sell it?
Yes, I am. I'm selling it regardless. I'm not keeping it. Originally my plan was to try to get my health better and renovate it myself, because I grew up there in that house, and I've always considered Irondale my home.
Right.
And even though I live somewhere else, I've always considered that my home. And, but with my health conditions, there's no way that I can do that. So I've got to sell it. And I am currently working with 2 people right now to get the house sold.
So what are you saying timeline for you?
I should be able to get everything completed before the middle of February or the end of February at the latest. But I am currently working with 2 people right now, and I might pull in a third or fourth, just get everything so it is sold. And I'm trying to get it done as fast as possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilman Box?
I'm interested to see who would be interested in buying it. Are they going to demolish it after they purchase it?
No, Gretchen was interested. She's sitting right here. She's one of the people I'm working on with selling it towards. And also a gentleman called John Romero, who builds houses and renovates houses here in Arndale. He had sent me a message that he was interested in the house, and I've been talking with him, and we're trying to get things worked out currently right now.
Okay. So, city inspector, in your opinion, it needs to be condemned, is what we've seen on the pictures that we see. That's why this is in front of us. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. So how long are you talking about to get this done? How long has the house been on the market? Are we just now getting this done as a last minute effort?
No, it's not a last minute effort. I did find out after the abatement had happened. I didn't know ahead of that time, because I've had some medical issues. And Mr. Kennedy had called me and, told me about it. And then I started getting everything cleared out of the house. And I've got about 95% of everything out of the house right now. And like I said, it does need a new roof and stuff like that. But, it's totally fixable, and I'm meeting with John hopefully tomorrow to let him inside the house, look around and stuff like that. And I did find a key to the back door. I checked it because I lost my keys, before I had the surgery on my foot. And so I do have a key to get into the house now too.
So the house is secured and there's no holes in the walls, holes in windows, things like that?
No, there's not any broke windows or anything like that. And, the doors are locked and stuff like that. So, like I said, I've been clearing everything out of the house, and because I needed to get everything out of the house so I could get it sold. And, I have been working with Gretchen here, who's interested because her daughter lives on the other side of the tracks, a couple of streets over. So she is interested in the house also. And I'm working with her and with John to get it sold as fast as possible.
I guess my final question would be for our inspectors. If the house does sell, it's going to take some heavy remediation, I would take, possibly even asbestos remediation, things like that.
Yes, sir, it's taking extensive renovation to fix the house, but the house is terrible. New roof, new shingles, probably new decking, whole inside gutted, but the foundation's in good shape. And the house is not just where it just needs to come up. It is repairable.
Thank you.
I've been all over it.
That's all my questions, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sims.
I looked through these pictures this afternoon and I've been in worse. So that was my first impression, was it looked like a salvageable house. I know there's lots recreated all over Irondale that have liens on them that, I don't know. Maybe someone will come in one day and want to buy and build a house, but this one struck me as one that I was hoping someone would show up and have a plan that I could get behind, because I think this one is salvageable if someone's willing to. It's not going to be cheap, but the way the market is and the prices are, I think it's doable. So I'd be inclined to allow some time
Thank you.
to allow you to facilitate that process. And I'm assuming whoever buys it would come get a building permit, and we would want them to get started right away. But whatever that process is, but I'd be inclined to allow 60 days or so, whatever.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So let me have kind of a follow-up question.
Please.
I asked this for legal or inspector. So if the house does sell, does this process have to start all over again? As far as the abatement? Yeah. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I've never done one like that before. But, I know John Romero. I don't know,
My name is Robert.
I don't know Gretchen, but I know John Romero. He does a lot of work here in Irondale. And if he's talking about buying, he does good work on these renovations. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have never talked to the owner here before. Like I said, been dealing with him, but I have walked the house, and the house it's salvageable. It can be repaired and make a nice home. Yeah. Legally, would you have a question? Answer for that question? If the house sells, will we have to go through the abatement process again if they don't do anything with the house?
if the city council votes to structure, there will be list items that will be built on it to give any subsequent such that we do not have to start over.
Okay.
I think in Councilman Lennon, I think this might be what you're saying. If for some reason we hit the pause button on this and it's sold and the new owner wasn't doing appropriate renovations, we would have to start the abatement process over again on the new owner. Is that correct? Okay.
We can do it either before or after, if there is concern that there would be a new owner that comes forward, just to make sure that all parties are on notice.
Okay.
And that would prevent you from having to complete.
To start over again. Okay, gotcha. The one question I would have is, can anybody get into to this house? Like you mentioned, there's no broken windows. He's got keys to the locks and stuff like that. Is the interior? Are we at least keeping people out of the interior to make sure that the city doesn't have any liability?
Yes, sir, I haven't seen anybody.
Okay.
All the windows are
Okay. Copy that. All right. As far as your process of selling, do you have an idea of a timeline of what that may look like?
Not right this second. I don't. I talked to John before coming to this meeting, and I'll have a better understanding hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to try to meet with him tomorrow to let him inside the house, so he can see what's there and that type of stuff. And I needed before the meeting here, I went by the house to check the key, because I lost my keys and over at my house, and the the key I've got is actually my dad's key on his key ring, and so it had a key to my truck also. So I'll know more after I talk with John tomorrow. Hopefully, we're going to try to catch up tomorrow. I told him that I checked the key before I actually came here, and I've already notified him that the key does work. So I do have a way to get him into the house so he can look at it now.
Okay. Are there any other comments against the demolition of this property? Please.
My name is Gretchen Thiel, and I am interested in the property. And I feel a responsibility because I brought this house to everyone's attention in trying to find him. And I don't think anybody it would even be on the radar if I hadn't brought it to your attention. And I feel really bad that his house might possibly be torn down before he can do anything.
I'm glad you did bring it up because I know about the road issue.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I'm glad you did bring it up.
Thank you.
I wish it hadn't got too far to the debate.
Yeah, well, and that I
Ms.
think that I
Gretchen,
did that.
can we get your address?
I live at 2205 2nd Avenue North
Thank you.
in Iredale.
Thank you.
So-
Any other comments against the abatement? All right. If there's no more comments against the abatement, I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay. Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. All right. Motion to go into our third public hearing.
Motion to enter into the third public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the City Council to hear from the owners of and any interested citizens concerning the property located at 1020 Navarro Lane, Irondale, Alabama, and the City Council's determination concerning demolition of the unsafe condition located on such property. Do we have that property owner here with us this evening? We do not have. Do we have anybody representing that property owner with us this evening? Okay. Councilman London, any questions about this item? Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
This one seems to be falling yet. No questions.
Copy. And I have no questions as well. Anyone that would like to go on record for this abatement? Anyone to go on record for this abatement? Anyone to go on record against this abatement? No fors, no against. No additional comments. Look for a motion to close this public hearing.
Make a motion that we leave public hearing.
All right. And we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now we'll go ahead and enter into the deliberation on the agenda items. Item number 1 on the consent agenda would be resolution 2023. That's going to take some getting used to. RO1 authorizes the execution by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. for a certificate of authorized signers for the city's escrow account for Wells Fargo Bank. From what I understand about this, this account was set up in the prior administration, and Wells Fargo wants an action from the city in order to allow our current Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. to be a signer on the account. Do I have that correct, Mayor?
Yes, they also wanted you all to authenticate that I was the mayor.
We will. We authenticate that you are definitely the mayor. If anyone's watching, Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
All right, Councilman Box, any questions? Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, none. Do we agree to keep this on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Fantastic. Item number 2, resolve the resolution 2023 RO2 authorizes the allocation of public funds from the 2022-23 fiscal year discretionary fund of Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. in an amount not to exceed $3,000 for the Martin Luther King Jr. Public Service Project grant to be given to selected public service project submissions to assist in bringing such projects to fruition, and that will be announced on January 17th, 2023. The mayor pretty much introduced this idea to everyone during his report. Councilman Lennon, any questions?
No question.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Outstanding. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2023 R-03 authorizes the execution by Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. for an agreement with Mobile Communications America for the servicing of Irondale Police Department communications equipment in an amount not to exceed $16,947 even. I believe this is a housekeeping item, something we do on an annual budget basis around E911.
Yes, maintenance agreement.
Maintenance agreement. Thank you. Councilman London, any questions?
No question.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman
None.
Sims? And none myself. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. All right. So we have had our public meeting on our ordinance 2023-01 regarding 6001 Olds Leads. So we've had our deliberation on that. Let's see here, flipping back around. Item number 5. This would be around the 1815 4th Avenue South. That we've had our public hearing on that. The one thing I will actually on that one, legal, since I guess we're in the deliberation phase of this, you mentioned a legal process that we could go ahead and extend on that property to possibly notify any future borrowers.
It's just a list pendants in the probate records that would just actually notify any subsequent owner of what is actually going on. What you could do in this particular situation is continue this item, for a time certain of a time that y'all find suitable, and then consider it again.
Perfect. Thank you. I am open to that consideration. Councilman Lennon, do you have a time frame that you would like to kind of introduce?
Yeah, he said the end of the month, end of February, I think will be a good time, end of February. So we talking about the first
council meeting in March?
First
Okay.
council meeting in March.
What do you think about that, Councilman
I'm
Box?
good with that, and then do what April says, we file the list and things.
Okay, gotcha. Councilman Sims?
7th of March.
Okay.
First council meeting, it looks like.
And that would be the same. So that would be continued to the first meeting in March. So we're agreeing to continue that, correct? All right. I just need someone to make sure that that's our first kind of modification. So just be on the ready line there. Item number 6, resolve that resolution 2023 R05 declares the property at 1020 Navarro Lane, Irondale, Alabama, a public nuisance. We've had our deliberations, our public hearing on that. Any other deliberations that we need to have on that item? Okay. See no's. All right. All right, item number 7, resolve that resolution 2023 R06 authorizes the use of McGriff Insurance Services as the city's insurance broker and the execution of any documents necessary for such purposes and for securing insurance on behalf of the city. Mayor, is there anything you want to say about this particular item?
I just want to let everybody know that we went through an extensive process to be able to select a new insurance broker for the city. We had 6 companies that we sent out an RFQ to them to submit to the city. We only had 4 to respond, but then we interviewed the 4 that responded to the RFQ. It was 4 of us on the panel. It was myself, April, Lee, and Josh from the fire department, because that covered all of the coverages that we had. After we completed our interviews, McGriff came out as being the new broker for the city of Irondale. And Chris Smith, who is sitting back there in the back, if you all want to, Chris, you just come up to the front right quick, just introduce yourself to everybody. But Chris is the individual that works for McGriff, and he's the one that will be servicing the city account for the next 3 years.
I appreciate it. McGriff Insurance, I've been in the insurance business for almost 15 years. I used to have the account for Irondale with Cobbs Allen, the prior broker. Very familiar with Mayor, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys, and I enjoyed the interview with you all, and we're excited about it.
Cool.
Any questions for me?
Councilman Lennon, any questions for the gentleman?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Myself, no questions either. Thank you for your time. All right, so that is item number 7. All right, so I'll preface this by saying the item I would like to add to the agenda, which would be the 8th item, would be 2023 R-07. And what this is basically, we approached this resolution, which would be 2022 R-236 at our last meeting. It was when we approved in-kind services to basically Marty's GM for the 17th. I had the date wrong. There was a little bit of miscommunication there. It is for the 18th, which would be that Saturday. So item number 7, 2023 R07, amends R236 to basically just simply change the date from the 17th to the 18th. Nothing else changes other than the date. Questions, Councilman London, on that?
No question.
Questions, Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
None.
Cool. The 8th item would be item 2023 R08. And this is basically for the same entity, still Marty's GM, still regarding the same festival, but where they needed something separate for their ABC license for that same celebration. The kicker on this one is, which makes it a little bit different, is because they're going to be doing it a little bit bigger, they had to redo their lease, where last year the lease was just for that part of the parking lot for one day. But because they're doing it a little bit bigger, their lease is from the 17th through the 20th for setup and tear down. So even though the festival will only be on the 18th, the ABC board is making them get a license for the entire length of their lease. So we're still only talking about alcohol sales on the 18th, but because the lease is from the 17th and the 20th, they needed this for the ABC board. Councilman Lennon, any questions?
No question.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Perfect. All right, so just to reiterate, item number 8, let me put my glasses back on, would be 2023 R07, and then the 9th item would be 2023 08. I believe y'all all have copies of that in front of you for reference.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. That rounds out the deliberation. At this time, we would take any public comments on agenda items only. Any comments on agenda items only? That would be stuff that we've deliberated up until this moment. All right. With no comments on agenda items only, I would go ahead and move into the actual voting. If someone would please introduce item number 1
To approve the,
approve the form of the agenda. Thank you.
make a motion to approve the form of the agenda.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. No opposed, no abstains. Thank you. All right. And just because I would have to do this, I would ask finally if there's any comments for agenda items only now that we actually have approved agenda. Okay, fantastic. All right. That being said, if we could go ahead and approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with items 1 through 3.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. At that point, we can go ahead and go on to the irregular agenda. If someone could go ahead and take us through the ordinance process on item number 4.
I make a motion that ordinance 2023-01 be considered read.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2023-01.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
Make a motion that ordinance 2023-01 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. Thank you. All right. And we are going to continue item number 5. So item number 6, please.
Make a motion that resolution 2023 R05 be considered read.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Make a motion we suspend all rules that prevent the immediate consideration of resolution 2023 R05.
Councilman Box, it's a resolution, so we're good to go.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. It was just that
I was
first
thinking
one, though.
of it, I didn't know.
Yep, no, you're good. I appreciate you willing to put in the additional work.
Perfect.
All right. All right, so that was item number 6. Item number 7, please.
I make a motion that resolution 2023 R06 be approved.
All right. Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Did we actually approve 6?
Yes.
Yes,
He said we
yes.
didn't have to go through the process.
Exactly.
Motion
But-
second.
But you just considered it read. Right?
I
Did
guess he
miss?
considered, do you need to redo that?
Yeah, I thought you were doing it as a permanent resolution, which would have been fine.
Okay.
But if you would go back.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Appreciate the stop on that. So if you could reintroduce that resolution for us.
Okay, so I make a motion that resolution 2023 R05 be approved.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you for the stop. If you could go ahead and if someone could go ahead and introduce item number 8 for us.
Make a motion, resolution 2023 R07 be approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And finally, sir.
Make a motion, resolution 2023 R08 be approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. So that finishes the deliberation on all that. At this time, we would take any comments on non-agenda items. Councilman Box, this would, if you have someone, please
It's
make
a
sure they're
computer,
aware.
I think, and, they're
Yes,
gonna do
ma'am. Please, if you
Yes.
could, we'll just need your name and address for the record. Will we need any timers or anything like that?
it. No, I think
Okay,
she'll be pretty.
pretty concise. Fair
Yes,
enough.
pretty
Thank you.
Mary-
Things, but
All
I'm
right.
Mary Scherer of 5276 Amber Hills Road. Attended the zoning board meeting, this past zoning board meeting, and we had some questions, and we're trying to get the minutes, and they won't release the minutes until the next zoning board meeting approves them. But it comes before the council, the next council meeting. So we got a council meeting before we can get the zoning board meeting. So can we fix that, change around, or?
The minutes
Release
usually
the
come out a
minutes?
little before that, I believe.
Well, when I
what-
spoke to the young man today, who I think there's been some vacation things, but he said they don't release or publish the minutes until after they're approved by at the next zoning board meeting. So that would be the 26th, and yet it comes up to the council here on the 6th.
What exactly are you looking to see in the minutes? Because I know you were here for the meeting.
We were, but we didn't have any pictures, and they were
Okay.
drawing lines across the pictures, the maps, and we didn't get one till afterwards. When we received the notice from the council that this property was coming up for rezoning, it just states one large piece of property, again, the same 5238 Amber Hills Road. But they were talking about carving off a piece of this property and leaving it residential and the other light industrial.
Gotcha.
So what are they doing? What's coming before here? A whole piece of property, a piece with a cutoff piece?
Okay.
We don't know.
So it sounds like you would probably like for me to forward the file from the planning and zoning that gave everything that we saw. You would like me to go ahead and forward that maybe to Councilman Box so he can distribute that to you and any other concerned
we
citizens?
didn't understand, what happened there. We were trying to still, we didn't have anything to look at. We were
Okay.
discussing between ourselves, and the next thing you know, it was over. It's like, oh,
So since that meeting has occurred and those files are I can
Council President?
distribute that, correct?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you
Yeah.
can. Would you prefer for me to set up a meeting with the engineer to go through what he presented? Because just giving you a drawing with no context
we
is,
got a drawing at
it's
the
just a
very
drawing.
end with a piece of a line crossing. But then when we received the notice from the city to come to the council meeting, next council meeting, it just calls it one large piece of property without the drawing line on there.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Do you want me to set up a meeting with him so that you all could get more clarity before the meeting? Because he talked about how they would, how they would draw a line, a buffer of 2 or 3 acres so that it wouldn't encroach on you all's community. He could come and you all can meet and have a discussion about that, and you can talk about it as long as you want to. In
You're
that
my best
meeting.
friend.
Well, that's if you come here, you got 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're restricted to what you can do.
That
But
would
if
be
you would like for me
Be
to
very
set up
helpful.
something with him to come and meet with you all to go through it, we'll do that.
That'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay. I'll do that through Councilman Box. I mean, it's your
My phone
district.
number, 205-956-5018. Do you have a place we can meet?
Right here.
Right, oh, good.
You good?
We'll
Monday or
either,
Tuesday?
I can't make you any promises tonight, but tomorrow I will be able to make you a promise.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? Yes, sir.
David Smith at 1020 Bramble Lane. And just a couple comments. First of all, thank you, Mayor, for the response on Grantswood. That is a dangerous intersection, and there was a lot of work done really quickly to help solve that. But that's all a derivative of the fact that Grants Mill is still closed. So I'm just looking for an update on where they are in that process. I know it's well beyond the 90 days originally planned. Is anybody holding them accountable for timelines? Are there fees and penalties associated with the work that's being done? What's the latest?
Yes, with I think I gave a report, was it week before last? But I think it was December the 20th because I met the county out there at the site, and we actually did a Facebook post to talk about everything that was going on out there. They're about 70% complete, but they did run into some soil issues. That's the problem that they have now, is being able to complete the retaining wall, but the soil ended up being a little bit softer than what they thought that it would be. So we are now meeting every 2 weeks to get an update on what's going on. Therefore, I will tell you that it will be completed in 15 days.
And you'll tell me in 15 days when the new 15 days?
Yeah, so I don't have a time limit, but we should be having a meeting this week. And if you leave your contact information with Lee, I'll personally call you and give you an update on what's going on.
Okay, and I'd heard about the soil, but I didn't know the extent, what does that mean, right? That's pretty open-ended, is.
Well, you know that hill was considered to be rock.
Right. Yeah.
But
It
once
looks like
they
rock, and everybody-
but once they got into it, they realized that it wasn't as much rock as they thought that it would be there to hold the retaining wall once they poured the cement there. So they're having to do extra to be able to hold the cement to the wall, to be able to hold the wall back. They could open it up, but it would be dangerous with people going through there with one lane and big tractors on top of the hill that could tumble down at any time.
Yeah, and I think the real question is, okay.
But
if
they're
there's
still.
issues, do they have a plan?
Oh, they have a
And
plan.
solve it, and it's going to be solved in.
Yes,
time.
they have a plan right now. That's what they are doing, is they are working on shoring up that wall. But the completion date now is still the same, which is September 23.
For the whole thing, but we're just
For the
talking
whole
about bringing
thing.
it back up again.
I don't want to give you a date because it will be incorrect. But as soon as I get more information and where they are, I'll make sure that I share it. And like I said, I'll shoot you an email
Appreciate it. And
to
it
let
sounds
you
like
know
you're
what's
on top
going on.
of it and driving them, and that's what I'm looking for. And again, thank you for the response on Grantswood, because the flashing lights and sign and all does absolutely make a difference.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? With no more comments on agenda items, I would accept a motion to enter into executive session for the reason to discuss the consideration the city council is willing to offer when considering the purchase, sale, exchange, lease, or market value of real property by the city, and to discuss negotiations involving matters of economic development.
Motion entered executive session for the purpose stated.
All right. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing the progress. Keep us in the loop.